type shaped eyes, various different hair colors, between the heights of 5 foot and 7 feet tall. I mean, it was a wide range. An encounter that I had recently within the past 6 months was with a hybrid, reptilian hybrid, where he was actually, his eyes had changed into a more of a blackish, not like full, but a blackish. And when I shook his hand, it felt like, you know, it was skin like what you and I have, but when I shook his hand, suddenly it felt like I was touching the back of like a crocodile.
So he's like a reptilian.
Yeah, almost as if he was showing me, you know, because I had already had a little feeling about this guy and was not quite sure, but then, you know, I figured the handshake would be the final test of the physical contact.
And we have this question here. Are you aware of something called jump gate?
Jump gate, that sounds almost something similar to Project Looking Glass. I've never heard that actual term, but I don't know if something popped up with Project Looking Glass with that one. Sounds like they're talking about a portal jump, like a Stargate or even Pegasus or something.
Okay. And another question. This is way off the beaten path, but we did talk about the Middle East. Do you know what happened to bin Laden?
No, I don't. I absolutely don't. You know, there's been all kinds of speculation that he had been in hospitals in and out. All I know about bin Laden is that he had worked for the CIA for many, many, many years. He was under the United States government's payroll.
You said that you've had missing time, and now a lot of people that describe missing time is because they were abducted. Is your missing time more on the order that you were missing, but not abducted?
My missing time was a combination of my labs and possibly something more.
And the more would be?
I don't really know yet.
Okay.
But I will just say that I've had, okay, let me just say this and I'll let people, I'm still working this out myself and I'll let people talk about amongst themselves. An incident that I do remember, and this happened back in 1998, where I was on leave. I was somewhere, I think it was up in maybe Oregon or maybe even Washington. And all I remember is going to go visit someone, and 2 days later I woke up about 2 miles away from the house, laying on the ground with no clothes on. I mean, I'm talking naked and not remembering anything.
Whoa.
And that has happened about 4 different times that I can remember.
So you're naked running down the street?
Well, yeah, one of the times I did get picked up by the police, but the guy was really nice. I was able to tell him that, you know, I was in the military, and of course then I had to get a new ID. And
I mean, it's not often they're going to pick up a naked guy unless it's in San Francisco. But let me say, strangely though, I guess maybe I'm a movie buff, but in Terminator, they could only travel through time if they were naked, because the clothes wouldn't go through. Maybe that's proof, Aaron, that you were jumping through time.
No, you can definitely wear clothes when you're traveling.
Have you ever?
I can't explain these instances yet. I really,
okay.
You know, a lot of the things that I need people to understand. So a lot of things I'm telling them are memories, eyewitness accounts, records that I have seen with my own eyes, but also the things I don't talk about unless it's relevant are the false memories that I have for certain. And if I believe it's a false memory, I will state that, because I myself am still kind of a project that I've made myself a project to get back memories and to get confirmation so that I can get the absolute truth out to people.
Well, maybe the truth is, Aaron, that you're not Aaron at all.
People, I've heard that, you know, Daniel, people have said that. People, you know, there was this lady, I don't remember her name, but apparently she's like an expert in this, where she did like she analyzed my entire Project Camelot interview, and she did what's called reverse speech analysis. Are you familiar with that? Because I wasn't.
Yeah, we've had people on the show.
She did a whole form just on me, and she basically said that I was abducted by reptilians decades and decades and decades ago, and that my body was cloned and my soul was put into that body, and that I was bred with a reptilian, a reptilian hybrid, and that I was part of some dissension project that happened in the Vietnam War, and I've been alive this age since the Vietnam War, and that all my memories of being a kid was false. Now, even for me, that just seems a little out there, and I can tell you that is not true, because I have some family members that I'm in contact with who would themselves say that's completely outrageous, and I would believe that.
I mean, maybe perhaps you're a school teacher in Boise, and you're missing right now.
Maybe I'm a platypus in New Zealand. Who knows? All I know is what I am right now.
Okay. We have this question here then. In the time travel, somebody wants to know, can you elaborate a little bit more about that? Now, I asked you earlier on that, if you met yourself in the past or if you met yourself in the future. But in time travel, by the way, just in real sense, can you, or those of you may know that time travel, can they take objects back?
It depends on what the object is. If you want to talk about maybe literally going to a planet and taking back core samples or samples of vegetation or water or even a species, yes, that can be done.
Okay. Have they done it? I mean, have you seen any of these objects?
Yes, I have.
Well, why don't they get some technology that would help mankind bring it back?
Because that's not the plan. That's not what they care about. So this is all for the greater good of the global agenda of mass control, and also expanding out, not just control here, but looking at colonizing and doing research and doing other things off-world. A
question for you. Have you ever seen a reptilian shapeshift?
That was the one I was talking about, but it wasn't a full shapeshift.
So it was a percentage...
And Dr. Deagle, I had to talk about this with Dr. Deagle and he really explained it, and again, this is just his opinion, but he did talk about a radio show with me that I did with him together, and the way he explained it is that, they have an ability to where they actually project into what your third eye, but your psyche, to where they're not necessarily physically shape-shifting, but more like on the astral psychic plane, they are letting you into who they really are.
And Aaron, how many others do you speculate have been through similar brainwashing techniques such as yourself?
Well, specifically with the third generation program, hundreds.
Okay, and
I would more than definitely less than 1,000 because I'll wash out. I had an experience when I was a kid where I was in a group of 8 and all washed out but me. At another level of the evaluation process to see if you could go on to the next level.
And are they done with you?
Not according to what they told me about 4 months ago, no.
Well, their evil plan must be failing because you're on this broadcast tonight telling a lot of people about what's happened to you, and it certainly doesn't work into their plans. Wouldn't that mean they'd have to go back to the drawing board and turn up the torture on you a little bit more?
Yeah, actually they would. They would, or they could use other means. This is why I don't talk about certain things of people that I'm involved with for that reason. I have to be very careful about the information I give out for a lot of reasons. But like I said, just no more than a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer, I had 2 days where I was no one could account for where I was at. And I don't live out in the middle of the desert. Where I live is a very populated area. I just, and there are people there that know where I'm at and know how to find me. So to be gone 2 days.
Aaron, what is your blood type?
I believe it is the only record I have on it is on a card that I have in my wallet. So I'm going to have to actually, while I'm talking, I'm going